I gotta say, I was a bit surprised by something that did happen. Not because I didn't see it coming or anything, it's that I am genuinely surprised they put it in the anime. But it's not because it's a bad thing or anything. I was just kind of iffy if they were going to even add it or not. Which, I mean, they did because it needs context and it adds to the story of Koko and Enupe. But that's getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about how it's still images. I did say last episode this wasn't bad, and it's kind of not, but it is getting a little annoying using the same thing. It's just studio really needs to level up if they want to make sure they don't disappoint us with the rest of Tenjiku's fights, because what's coming up in the next episode has to be high tier fighting. It just has to. But let's focus on our boy Koko and his love life, because we get something that might have caught some people off guard, at least anime watchers. He just kisses Inupe, which, I mean, the context there is said right after when he breaks down and it goes to the flashback of him basically hitting on his friend's sister. Or I guess, were they friends? It doesn't seem like it, considering that throughout the whole events, he basically was more focused on saving her than him, but that's getting ahead of myself. So we do see a young Koko before his money-driving self came into play. He's trying to kiss Akane. And yeah, that doesn't work. She wakes up and kind of just says that's not good to do. Which, I mean, dude tried. I gotta give it that. The dude really did try to be slick, and it didn't fucking work. But what we have more importantly is that he basically confesses his feelings. She knows that it's not right to date him. However, it just seems like she just, I guess, accepts the feelings because she just smiles and kind of that's how they leave off the conversation. I know he confesses again in a more less stuttering way, but I'm like, I mean, my opinion on it is, I mean, Koko did what he needed to do. He confessed his feelings. Though I was a little caught off guard that in the same fucking night the whole event of the fire happened. That actually, I had to go back and reread. It didn't seem like it in the manga. But anyway, let's get back to focus. Basically, he goes to try to save her. He instead saves Inupe and she ends up, well, badly hurt. And yeah, his whole money drive is he wants to gather enough money so that way he can save her, so they can give the whole operation to save her. However, he is unsuccessful because she passes away before he has the chance to even hand out that money. This quite clearly fucks him up because now he's just this obsessed because he doesn't want to let go of that thing that is holding him back. That being, he still sees Inupe as Akane, and it's keep putting him to keep getting more money. He does blame Inupe too, that he did use them for money, since it shows that every single person he's interacted, Izana, the fool who was the Black Dragon leader before Taiju, and Inupe, everyone wants him because he is able to gather a lot of money. And it is a good point, but it's just tragic. Because even Inupe kind of accepts that, yeah, he was a shitty friend. But right now, he's trying to save his friend. He's trying to truly be a friend. Obviously, Koko is completely conflicted. Because Inupe also wants him to see him for who he is. Not see him like if he's his sister. And yeah, eventually Mr. Mucho, the traitor, comes in and just like, alright, you're fighting me now. And just uses judo on him and kicks his ass. Izana just explaining away every single person. There's no here. I almost forgot to mention, Koko also met the twins, the little duos that fight with Hakai and Angry. Which actually makes me think, how many people did this fucker actually help? But anyway, back to the video. Basically, Izana is just trying to talk about just the S62, what they're all capable of. Kind of giving us an idea just how fucked Tomon is really, because most of their strong fighters are not really there to combat against the strong fighters of Tenjiku. Considering this, Takemichi is endurable. He's super strong. But, I mean, realistically, he would lose against one-on-one against most of these guys. Hell, his fight with Kakucho kind of proves it, because he's barely even able to do, well, jack shit. We do get to go more into the fight between angry Hawkeye versus the Atai brothers. And we get to see the biggest flaws with those two. Hawkeye trusts too much into Yuzaha, basically relying on her. And Angry relies too much on Smiley. So whenever they're trying to team up, their sync is ass because they have never really worked together. And I do like that the brothers do acknowledge thinking that Hawkeye is hiding behind the shadow of Taiju when in all reality, he doesn't really give a shit of Taiju after season 2. Before, he was more afraid of him than anything. But not necessarily hiding behind his shadow, more like either afraid or just doesn't give a shit. That's the interesting part, is that Chifuyu does note that these two duos are basically just the baby of the family, respectively, are fighting together. A bad combo, really, considering that their opponents are people who know how to fight in sync. And yet the episode ends with Hawkeye and Angry not giving up and basically acknowledging that they can't sync up, but they're willing to still fight. Showing the true spirit of Tomon, that it is not to give up. And I do say this is still a good episode. Koko really needed this character development, because we did get a new pace earlier in the season. But now that we got Koko's, we have finally the First Division's whole thing, with Sakamichi leading the charge. It's just next episode. Ooh, next episode. It's going to be fucking lit.